guess we're just about done, my friend.
Hello everyone, it is the Almighty Jeff and this is episode 124, the finale of Red Dead Redemption 2. Last time we cleared up everything that I'd unlocked after finishing Epilogue 2, including the second part of A Better World, A New Friend, in which we placed the scroll ornament that seemed to keep disappearing to different places, handing in Uncle's item request, taking in the last bounty in Tumbleweed, purchasing the last weapons, witnessing and participating in a Chelonian mass suicide, and recovering Mike's revolver from the top of Mount Hagen. Before we get into this episode, I did manage to do one last thing. The Tumbleweed General Store finally opened up for me, so I purchased all the remaining outfits, so I'll see you when we're done. And that's it, I'm in a place now where I'm fairly comfortable with wrapping up the series, other than this one last thing. As I said last episode, we're going to be visiting all of the graves. I think there are 9 in total of gang members, and in one instance a friend of the gang who didn't make it through the story. And in fact we're actually starting with someone who died before the story even began. So we're going to go through them in the order in which they died, which might make it a bit awkward because I'll have marked all these locations as to where people are buried, but it's a bit in an awkward area, so it's usually nearby where they died that they're buried. Kind of makes sense, I suppose. So it ends up more going in sort of like a loop, and then it like jumps here and then there, and then yeah, it's a whole thing, but it's how I decided to do it. So our first grave is just above Spider Gorge. You can see just about where it is exactly on the map, up in Old Amberino. And this is the grave of Jenny Kirk, who died before. Well, we actually have no idea what Jenny even looks like. If you come up close, you can actually inspect the grave and just ponder for a second. So yeah. So we don't actually know an awful lot about Jenny, because she never actually appeared in the game, other than the fact that she was another death that came about from the Blackwater massacre and the heist that failed there. I think if I can open the journal, I think the closest thing we've got to knowing what Jenny looked like is right at the start of the journal. Arthur drew a picture of her, I think. There she is. So that's the only thing we've got of young Jenny, unfortunately. But yeah, if there's a Red Dead 3, maybe we'll meet her. But who knows? Anywho, so that is Jenny taken care of. We're going to head just downriver a little bit, and we're going to be cutting between all of these just for time-saving purposes, because I want to keep this as brief as we can, because I want to go through all the compendium stuff as well. But let's pay a visit to our second fallen comrade. Alright guys, made my way down to Colton. It took me quite a while to find this one because it's actually at the back of an actual cemetery, so I was looking around for this grave for ages. So of course this is where the beginning of the game took place, and unfortunately it is where we lost Davy Callender, so let's just let's not step on him, but that's fine. So yeah, there's Davy again. There's not really much that we know about Davy. He was either dying or dead by the time that the actual first cutscene came into play, and then he subsequently was confirmed to have died by the time they actually entered the shelter. But yeah, so we don't even... well, we had a brief glimpse of what Davy looked like, I suppose. But yeah, another fatality due to the Blackwater incident, alongside who we didn't know at the time, but was later informed by Milton and Ross, with his brother Mac, who was executed at the scene. So yeah, but apparently he was quite a vicious member alongside his brother, but that's about all we know. So there you go. So those are the two are sort of, I guess you could almost call like miscellaneous gang members, not ones that we really bonded with in any way, just yeah, they died, but that's about all there is to it. Obviously, if you follow the story, you'll know fully well who it was that we lost next around Rhodes, but let's head out and go pay our respects. Alright guys, here we are, just outside Rhodes, and this is the poor grave side of the young Sean Maguire. Oh, poor Sean. I did really love Sean. He was quite an awesome member of the gang, the young Irish rebel who I think Arthur said he was like a little annoying brother to him, who unfortunately fell at the Grey ambush in Rhodes and subsequently marked the ending of relations between them and the Braithwaites as well after they kidnapped Jack. Fortunately, Sean was the one who it cost him his life, and it just goes to show, and because you know so many of the cloud, how ominous, older gang members that made it so far, and yet Sean was probably one of the youngest. I think I can't remember exactly how old he was, but I think he must have been around his late teens, early 20s or something like that. But yeah, poor Sean, cocky but quite lovable, and I think it was his death that really changed the game. I think like everything seemed almost kind of happy-go-lucky. Before that, you know, there was skirmishes and there were shootouts and stuff like that, and people got injured. I mean, Arthur nearly got killed by the O'Driscolls a couple of missions prior, but this is when the game basically showed you, like, yeah, you're not gonna love this. Like, people you like are going to die, and unfortunately, Sean was the first one of those. So, rest in peace, my young Donegal lad. Rest in peace. Alright, and it's not too big a jump in time before we actually lost our next gang member just outside Shady Bell. So let's go. And here we are, guys. Quite, it's almost quite sad how sort of little effort got put into this grave compared to the one of Sean, but this is of poor Kieran Duffy. I mean, I guess it says a lot because, I mean, I think the vast majority of the gang never accepted him as one of their own compared to everyone else. You know, the fact that he was a former O'Driscoll and everything like that. But he was actually, if you remember, kidnapped without basically anyone's knowledge, and no one really cared except for Mary Beth. I believe it's actually after at some point during the party of Jack's return to camp that he subsequently disappears and makes his rather dramatic return to camp in Horseman Apocalypses, with his head in his hands, with his eyes gouged out, led, you know, with a whole mass of O'Driscolls behind him. Which was very, honestly, the first time I saw that, like, it freaked me the hell out. Like, I don't know what else everyone else thought about that cutscene, but genuinely, like, there's something about that particular cutscene and him coming in like a headless horseman that really stuck with me and really almost made me feel sick to my stomach. Ugh, I literally, like, I think the night after that mission, I've had a very hard time sleeping because I had just that image stuck in my head. It was really not a great way to go for poor Kieran. He definitely deserved a lot better, but there you go. And now we come to our next double whammy. If you remember, let me just make sure I'm taking these markers off. Yeah, I am doing. Something that, if you saw my reaction in the episode, you could tell that hit me quite hard. So let's, again, not a massive jump in time between these this next death, or deaths. So we'll see when we get there. Alright folks, here we are. I've given it a couple of hours because it was getting quite dark, so it's just early morning now, and Mac was a little bit off. I put it over here. It's actually down where I am right now. And here we are, we have our double whammy, as we lost both Hosea and poor, I mean, talking about people who we lost very young, I was not expecting whatsoever. Poor young Lenny as well, in the final mission in Chapter 4, in the failed heist in Saint Denis. This was going. I mean, these two were genuinely probably my a couple of my favourite characters in the game. You know, Hosea was like basically like the father to Arthur, I suppose, and giving him good wisdom and everything like that. I think that was definitely the change in the camp, and I think things towards the end of the game could have gone a very different way had it not been for the loss of Hosea. I think Dutch relied on Hosea more than he was probably willing to admit to make sure that he didn't lose the plot as he did and side with Micah. And then, Paul Lenny as well. Just a kid. And again, it seemed like, I mean, I understand that at the time there was a bit, they were trying to escape from the police, but genuinely it seemed that nobody batted an eyelid really when Lenny got shot down, other than Arthur, who took a second to be with him as he died. But everyone else just ran straight past, and I think only Dutch was the ones who actually say genuinely express remorse. Everyone else just kind of ran straight by without a second thought, really. So yeah, definitely a heartbreak for that one. If you want to you remember seeing my reaction to that one. I was in shock. I mean, I could see Hosea's coming seconds before, during that cutscene, thinking, "Oh, this isn't going to end well." The Lenny one genuinely took me by surprise. So, yeah, poor kid. All right, now, well, actually, there isn't a grave for the next camp loss, which was Molly, because at the time, of course, they thought that she was one who had sold out the gang to Milton and Ross, and subsequently Miss Grimshaw shot her. As it was sort of against the rules of the camp, which obviously we'd later learned at the end of the chapter was actually a lie. I don't know. Well, I mean, the key seemed to think that it's because she was in love and heartbroken and then just decided to, try and make him feel bad, but at the cost of her own life, unfortunately. So little R.I.P. Molly Shay will go in here, but she doesn't have a graveside, unfortunately. So we're jumping ahead a little bit towards the end of chapter 6. And heading up back this way near the Wapiti Reservation, so you can probably make a guess as to who it is that we're going to visit next, but I'll see when we get there anyway. Alright, here we are with a lovely view of the waterfalls down there. We've got this marker. For poor young eagleflies, again, when I said it was gang and a friend of the gang, obviously the eagleflies was never officially one of the Vanderlyn gang, but yeah. That was another big shock, and I think it was just another part of the trying to pin in everything about Dutch's betrayal at the end of chapter 6. Because it was only moments before that we actually saw Dutch leave Arthur to be killed, only for eagleflies to come in and save us, to be subsequently shot by Colonel Favors. And as he said outside, Dutch, everything happened exactly to plan. I think maybe he didn't specifically want eagleflies to die, but sort of covered over the trail nicely, I think, of basically what ended up happening to the Wapiti natives and how they had to be forced to move to Canada and everything. But it acted as a perfect getaway for Dutch and the traitors in the Vanderlyn gang, Mike, Cleet and Joe, Bill and Javier, that sort of thing. But yeah, unfortunately, poor eagleflies had to fall for his grand plan to come into play. And obviously the devastation that had on Rainsfall as well was equally gutting. Another one of my favourite characters. So rest in peace, eagleflies. So we've got 2 more stops to make, and thankfully one of them isn't Micah, so you'll know that both of those were from the same mission, the final mission of chapter 6. And despite we've got one right across the road here, that is where we are going to be finishing. We're first going to pop down this way, not too far away. Well, actually, no, Beaver Hollow's quite a ways away, so Charles must have made quite a commute to shift one of the bodies down here. But let's go pay a visit. Okay, here we are. Again, I was a little bit off with this marker. It's kind of hard to tell where to put it when it's not really in a specific place, but we're just over here to visit the grave of Miss Grimshaw, poor Susan. Obviously quite the sort of hot-headed maternal influence in the Vanderlyn gang, who at the very last moment of her life decided to side with Arthur and everything like that, which was quite a nice moment. I quite liked when she was, because obviously, I remember going into that scene, I was already an emotional wreck after the last ride back to camp with Arthur, and then I was, you know, just filled with like almost. I was very emotional, and obviously that quickly turned to anger with the whole Micah situation, and then Susan just jumping on behind us, being, you know, absolutely at the time she was the only one on Arthur's side because John hadn't come back to camp yet, but yeah, she was subsequently shot down with no sort of reaction from anybody, really. Obviously, as I said before, the situation was everybody was very hot-headed in immediate circumstances, but Micah shot her down, and Dutch didn't even second-guess Micah, like, immediately, despite the fact that I think Susan's one of the people who've been with the gang the longest, alongside, like, Hosea and possibly Arthur. I'm not sure if she was before or after him. And I think, actually, at some point it's confirmed that she and Dutch used to be a thing, but they decided to break it off. And the fact that he immediately, like, he didn't even consider that loss as anything as too problematic for his relationship with Micah. Despite the fact that he openly, like, shot down one of his gang members in cold blood, but nothing thought of it. Just really goes to show how far he'd gone. But yeah, poor Susan. Rest in pepperonis. Okay, we have one last stop to make, and I'm sure it's going to be of absolutely no surprise to anybody who it is that we need to visit, and is the perfect place, I think, to hopefully, this is going to happen, and I'm going to get the doing it, it's going to be like 99.9%, and I'm going to be like, oh, what? Oh my god, oh dear. But hopefully, what we should be doing to earn 100% in this masterpiece of a game. So I'll do one last cut, and I'll see you when we arrive. We're here, folks, and even just on the ride over, I could feel butterflies in my stomach. I mean, look at that view. Look at that view. Here we go. The graveside of Arthur Morgan. Found the graves of Oliver. Yay! We achieved 100%.
Guess we're just about done, my friend.
That's it. That is 100%. I want to see what it actually says on the grave. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. There you go. And a well-maintained grave as well. That's what I like to see. We did it, old man. We bloody did it. I believe that was the cutscene for each 100% there, for that cutscene at Arthur's grave there with the music. Well, at least we did it. Oh my god, we actually did it. Okay, so look through our progress. Look at that. Total completion, 100%. Across the board, we visited all the graves now. Everything's all ticked off. So I think we're just going to wrap up by, we're just going to go through this page. I could go through loads of stuff, you know, like all the outfits and like the hats and stuff like that, but I'm not going to because it's just going to take too long. So let's just reflect through the story, and I'll probably try and quickly read through all the synopsis as well. Hopefully it doesn't go on too long. Outlaws from the west, half frozen, close to death and on the run, the gang find shelter in an old abandoned mining town. Dutch, Arthur and Micah head out to look for supplies. Enter pursued by a memory. John hasn't returned from an early scouting trip. Arthur and Javier ride out into the snow to look for him. Old friends. Looking for information on the O'Driscoll's planned train job, Dutch leads the gang into an attack on their camp. The aftermath of Genesis. With the gang low on supplies and starving, Mr. Pearson sends Arthur and Charles out hunting. Who the hell is Leviticus Cornwall? In need of money and with the plans and explosives stolen from the O'Driscoll's camp, the gang ride out to rob Leviticus Cornwall's private train. Eastward bound, with renewed strength and the weather finally stable, the gang ride down from the mountains to set up camp at Horseshoe Overlook. Okay, after a failed robbery, the gang have fled from Blackwater into the Grizzly Mountains, but a late spring storm has left them half frozen and starving. They hole up in an abandoned mining town to lick their wounds in a way to breaking the weather. After breaking the weather, the gang have headed down from the mountains and are now hiding at Horseshoe Overlook. Hang on. Total description. Oh, I never knew you could do this. They are outside Valentine, a muddy livestock town, and are figuring out their next moves while regathering their strength. Dutch is trying to figure out a new plan for the gang. Jose is finding places to rob, while Karen and the girls are bored after being stuck in the mountains. Some old friends reappear. Polite Society Valentine style. Search of new leads for the gang. Karen, Tilly, and Mary Beth convince Arthur and Uncle to ride out to Valentine with them. Americans at rest. Bill starts a brawl in Smithfield Saloon in Valentine as Javier, Charles, and Arthur attempt to charm the locals. Who is not without sin. Arthur goes to find out what Reverend Swanson is doing at Flatneck Station. The first shall be last. Following a tip-off of Sean's whereabouts, Arthur Trelawney, Javier, and Charles Ike Skelding's bounty hunters up the Alpen Montana River and attempt to rescue Sean. Being a social call, under the threat of torture, Kieran leads Arthur, John, and Bill out to Six Point Cabin where he claims Come O'Driscoll is holed up. A quiet time. Arthur takes Lenny for a quiet drink in Valentine to help to calm him down after learning of Micah's arrest in Strawberry. Exit pursued by a bruised ego. After spotting a huge bear by the Dakota River, Hosea and Arthur ride out and track it. Money lending and other sins part 3. Arthur attempts to reclaim the debt from Thomas Downs but finds him to be destitute. If only we could undo that mission, eh? Blessed are the meek. With Micah due to be hanged for a double murder near Strawberry, Arthur attempts to break him out of jail. If only we skipped out these 2 missions, everything would have gone just fine. We love Ross and True part 3. After finding Jamie in Cumberland Forest with the Trelawney religious order, Arthur tries to convince him to return to Mary. Good on his snake oil. Following a tip from the Valentine sheriff, Arthur attempts to capture and turn in Benedict Albright, a wanted criminal, out near Dakota River. Spans of America. To prove their business credentials to the Emerald Ranch fence, Seamus, Arthur and Hosea attempt to rob a stagecoach from old Bob Crawford at Coundydale. Bournemouth Hall Part 2. Arthur steals an iron wagon to use in the train job being planned by John. Bournemouth Hall Part 4. Blocking the tracks with the heavy oil wagon, Arthur, John, Charles and Sean board the train and rob valuables from the rich passengers in baggage car. An American pastoral scene. Following a tip-off, Micah and Arthur rob a banking stagecoach. Fisher of Men. Arthur does a favour for Abigail and takes Jack out on a fishing trip. The sheep and the goats. John has a plan to hustle a herd of sheep and sell them at auction in Valentine. And a strange kindness. Wanting the gang to lie low after the trouble in Valentine, Dutch asks Arthur and Charles to scout its new camp location at Dewberry Creek. Okay. Chapter 3. The gang got run out of Valentine after an altercation with the railway magnate, Leviticus Cornwall, who has grown tired of having his trains robbed by gangs of outlaws. Afraid that the routes westwards were being watched by Pinkerton agents, the gang moved south and east and are now hiding at Clemens Cove, near the town of Rhodes. Rhodes is a rundown town that has lost a lot of its antebellum charm and is in the grip of a feud between 2 old local families, the Greys and the Braithwaites. Dutch and Hosea hope to use this dispute to their advantage. I can't speak today. Due south, Arthur, Dutch and Hosea go out on a fishing trip. Further questions of female suffrage. To get her out of camp for a while, Arthur takes Sadie into Rose to collect supplies. American distillation. Arthur, Dutch and Bill become temporarily deputised citizens of Scarlet Meadows County as they help Deputy Archibald shut down a moonshine distillery and steal a wagon load of the Braithwaite's moonshine. Of course, a True Love Part 2. Beau Gray asks Arthur to deliver a letter to Penelope Braithwaite at Braithwaite Manor. Of course, a Jewel of Part 3. At the request of Beau, Arthur drives Penelope and other protesters through Rhodes as they participate in a women's suffrage rally. Advertising the New American Art Part 2. Catherine Braithwaite pays Hosea and Arthur to head into Rhodes and hand out the local moonshine for free at the local saloon. Horseflesh for dinner. To get back at the Braithwaites, Tavish Gray asks Arthur, John and Javier to steal prize horses from Braithwaite Manor that he claims will sell for $5,000. The fine joys of tobacco. Working with the Braithwaites, Arthur and Sean drive to Caliga Hall with the remaining moonshine and attempt to use it to help burn the Greys' tobacco fields. Magicians for sport. Arthur and Charles go to track down Trelawney at his rental caravan in Rhodes. Fred's in very low places. Trelawney causes a distraction as Arthur ups a stagecoach in Scarlet Meadows following a tip-off from a discouraged worker at Rhodes Post Office. An honest mistake. Uncle receives a tip-off and rides out with Arthur, Charles and Bill to rob a wagon carrying payroll. Preaching forgiveness as he went, following a lead about the Lemoyne raiders sitting on a pile of weapons, Lenny and Arthur ride out deep into the woods towards Shady Belle. Sodom back to Gomorrah, with the heat in Valentine having died down, Bill thinks it's finally time to hit the bank. Karen causes distraction while Arthur handles the vaults. Blessed are the peacemakers. Suspecting a trap, Micah asks Arthur to observe an arranged meeting between Dutch and Colmore Driscoll from afar. A short walk in a pretty town, Arthur, Micah, Bill and Sean go to meet some of the Grey boys in rows to discuss a security job. But a few dangers to Modern. Suspecting it was Catherine Braithwaite who kidnapped Jack, Dutch, Arthur, John and the gang ride to Braithwaite Manor to get him back. And the Battle of Shady Belle. John and Arthur clear out the last remaining Lemoyne raiders from Shady Belle before their gang relocate their caravan. Alright. Chapter 4. Things ended poorly in Rhodes. The Pinkertons showed up again and little Jack Marston was kidnapped. The gang headed to Saint Denis hunting for Jack and are now hiding outside town, deep in the swamps, in a rundown old manor house called Shady Belle. Dutch is desperately searching for an escape plan for them all. Hosea, meanwhile, is hunting a serious score for them. The joys of civilization. Having just arrived in Saint Denis, Dutch and Arthur ask around the Bastille saloon for information on Angelo Bronte. Angelo Bronte, a man of honour. John, Dutch and Arthur head to Bronte's mansion to get Jack back. Bronte asks the gang to clear out the local graveyard in return for Jack. Help a brother out. Brother Dawkins asks Arthur to investigate a nearby shop suspected of acting as a front for human trafficking. Brothers and sisters one and all. A street kid steals Sister Calderon's crucifix. Arthur chases the kid through the streets of Saint Denis to get it back. High and low finance. Charles has purchased some plans for the Rhodes Bank, which show a structural weakness in one of the walls. Arthur, Charles and Uncle plans to destroy the wall with dynamite and rob the safes inside. Fatherhood and Other Dreams Part 2. Mary asks Arthur to help with her father, who has become consumed by gambling addiction. Arthur must retrieve a valuable family heirloom Mary's father has sold off. No, and thrice no. Susan and Arthur head to the Foreman brothers' hideout to rescue Tilly, who has been kidnapped. The Gilded Cage. The gang attend a party hosted by the Mayor of Saint Denis. While at the party, they meet with Bronte and look for job opportunities. Fine night of debauchery. While at the Mayor's party, the gang learn of a card tournament being held at the Grand Corrigan Riverboat. Strauss and Trelawney fix a game so Arthur can win big at the tables. Horseman Apocalypses. The O'Driscolls send Kieran's mutilated body to the camp at Shady Belle before launching a brutal attack. Urban Pleasures. After receiving a tip from Bronte about a trolley station in Saint Denis holding a large amount of cash, Dutch, Arthur and Lenny meet to rob it. Country Pursuits. Before they can rob the Saint Denis bank, Dutch convinces Arthur that they must kill Bronte. They first visit Thomas, a local fisherman, to procure a skiff for the assault on Bronte's mansion. Revenge is a dish best eaten. The gang attacks Bronte's mansion from the river to get rid of the threats of Bronte's men and to take revenge for the trolley station setup. American Fathers Part 2. Arthur meets Eagle Flies outside Cornwall Kerosene and Tar and prepares to break in to steal a report on the old reserves at the Wapiti Reservation. Biking the old American art. In order to fund their escape and retirement abroad, the gang prepares for one last job robbing the Bank of Saint Denis. Oh dear. Chapter 5. The bank robbing in Saint Denis was a disaster. The gang has been almost destroyed. Several members were killed and arrested. Everything seems lost. Dutch, Micah, Javier, Bill and Arthur escaped on a boat. The boat sank in the Caribbean and they were washed ashore on the island of Guam, a sugar-cane producing island off the coast of Cuba. The island is dominated by Colonel Fusar, a local tyrant kept in power by the sugar companies. Local workers are despondent. The gang, or what remains of them, are pressured into helping by a Haitian smuggler named Hercule. In exchange, he will try to find them passage back to America. Welcome to the New World. Having survived the shipwreck and now washed ashore on a remote island, Arthur begins searching for the gang. Savagery unleashed. In order to secure safe passage of the island, Arthur has agreed to rescue some local workers for Hercule and Leon. A kind and benevolent despot, with the help of a local, Gloria, Dutch and Arthur infiltrate Fusar's compound to rescue Javier. Hell hath no fury. The gang meet Hercule at the fortress of Cinco Torres and prepare to clear the waters around the island so they can safely depart for America. Paradise mercifully departed. Arthur and the gang must destroy gun emplacements on the coast and rescue the ship captain before they can leave the island. Dear Uncle Tacitus. Arthur heads for Shady Belle to try to track down the rest of the gang. Fleeting joy, Arthur is reunited with the gang at Lakay. Milton arrives with his Pinkertons and attacks the camp. That's Murphy country. Dutch sends Arthur and Charles to Beaver Hall to find a new location for the gang's camp, and a fork in the road. Arthur passes out in Saint Denis and waits to find a stranger dragging him to the doctor's surgery. Dear oh dear. Hey Chris and friends, Sadie's contact Mr. Bullard agrees to take Arthur in his hot air blue to scout out the Sisika Penitentiary. Visiting hours, Arthur and Sadie rode to Sisika Island to break Giant to prison. Just a social call, Arthur meets Dutch and Micah in Annesburg where they are planning to confront Cornwall. Do Not Seek Absolution Part 1. Edith Downs tells Arthur that her son Archie is working at the Annisburg mine. Arthur heads to the mine to find Archie being grounded by the foreman, Mr. Dockery. And then Part 2. Unwilling to accept Arthur's money, Edith Downs continues to sell her body. Worried for his mother's safety, Archie Downs asks Arthur to head to Wither's Rest to look for her. Course of True Love Part 5. Arthur tries to help Penelope Braithwaite and Beau Gray escape their families. The Delights of Van Horn. Bill and Arthur ambush an army convoy transporting dynamite through Van Horn. The bridge to nowhere. John and Arthur plant dynamite at the Bacchus Bridge in order to create a distraction and disrupt the army's transportation. A rage unleashed. Eagle Flies and the gang launch a raid on an army boat to reclaim horses stolen from the Wapiti Reservation. Archaeology for beginners. Arthur visits Rains Fall in Wapiti and they travel to a sacred Native American site and they use grizzlies. And amongst thieves, Colonel Favors is redirecting smallpox vaccine away from the Wapiti Reservation to punish the Native Americans for the recent unrest. Monroe requests Arthur's help to steal the vaccine from the army. Fine after conversation, Arthur attends a truce meeting between Colonel Favors and Rainsfall, where Rainsfall hopes to negotiate peace. Goodbye, dear friend. With Colm O'Driscoll under arrest, Sadie, Arthur and Dutch head to Saint Denis to watch him hang. Favoured sons, in order to draw attention away from the gang and onto the natives, Dutch convinces Eagle Flies to ambush an army patrol. The King's son, upon learning that Eagle Flies has been captured by the army, Arthur and Charles infiltrate Fort Wallace to rescue him. Mrs. Sadie, Adler Widow Part 2. Arthur and Sadie travel to Hanging Dong Ranch and finish business with the O'Driscolls once and for all. My Last Boy, Eagle Flies rides into Beaver Hollow to rally support for a final attack on Cornwall Kerosene the Tar. Against Rainfall's wishes, Dutch and the gang accompany Eagle Flies into battle against the army. And by themselves, as their final job, the gang ride to Saint Denis to intercept a rubber train carrying army supplies and payroll heading for the recently destroyed Bacchus Bridge. And Red Dead Redemption. With John assumed dead and Abigail captured by the Pinkertons, Dutch cuts them loose and rides for Beaver Hollow. Arthur and Sadie head to Van Horn to rescue Abigail. Epilogue Part 1. John takes a job at Pronghorn Ranch and tries to escape his past indiscretions while learning the skills of ranching. He and his family live under assumed names, or try to, as they return to some familiar country after several years wandering in the north and west. The Wheel. Several years after fleeing Dutch and the gang, John, Abigail and Jack look for work in the town of Strawberry. Simple pleasures. Using the pseudonym Jim Milton, John has secured a job as a hand at Pronghorn Ranch and gets to work. Farming for beginners. John works a day at the ranch helping Dickens build a fence and look after livestock. Fatherhood for beginners. With the other ranch hands busy and Geddy heading into town, John takes on more work at the ranch. Old habits. A gang of hired guns cause trouble on Pronghorn Ranch. Jim Milton rides again. John is thanked by Mr. Geddes for his help with the Laramie gang, and he turns in for the night only to be woken by a raid on the ranch. Fatherhood for idiots. John juggles fatherhood and his multiple identities as he heads to Strawberry with Jack to collect mail for Geddes and a package for Abigail. Motherhood. John receives a telegram from Sadie Adler. Gainful employment. After receiving a telegram from Sadie, John meets from Valentine and helps her with some bounty hunting work. And home with the gentry. Before he can purchase Beecher's home, John must inspect the land and move on any illegal tenants. Back in Blackwater, he runs into an old friend. And Epilogue Part 2. In an effort to give Abigail the life she's always wanted, John has bought a farm of his own. He's trying to become a family man and rancher with help and hindrance from some old friends. I can't talk about the description on that one. Bare Knuckle Friendships. Uncle tells John that he's learned that Charles Smith is alive and in Saint Denis. John and Uncle got to Saint Denis to track him down on his day's labours. John meets Sadie in Blackwater. Sadie asks John to help her recover a bounty named Shane Finley, who was taken from her by a professional rival, James Langton. Home improvement for beginners. John, Uncle and Charles tear down the derelict shack at Beecher's Hope. The toolbox. John purchases a pre-cut house from the Blackwater lumber yard. Hearing the Skinner brothers are in the area, John, Charles and two hired guns bring the lumber home via the toolmaker at Manzanita Post. A New Jerusalem. John puts together his pre-cut ranch house with the help of Charles and the encouragement of Uncle. A quick favour for an old friend. With his debts mounting and a bound to buy, John accompanies Sadie to hunt down the wanted criminal Ramon Cortez and bring him to justice. Uncle's bad day. Uncle, John and Charles spend the night celebrating after finishing work on the barn. John wakes to find Uncle is being taken by the Skinner brothers. Try again. John takes Jack fishing with the family dog Rufus. They catch more than they bargained for. A really big bastard. Sadie visits John at Beecher's Hope with the leave to hunt down a bounty Marshal Thurwell in tall trees and discuss other men who evaded their capture. A new future imagined. John and Abigail go into Blackwater to spend some quality time together. John has a question to ask her. An American Venom. Sadie has a clue that might lead him to Micah. Cleet has been sighted in Strawberry. Despite Abigail's protest, John, Sadie and Charles ride there to interrogate him and track down their old enemy. Oh my god, my throat. You can see, as you've seen, I've got gold on all of them except for New Jerusalem, and for whatever reason I just cannot get the time requirement on this one, despite the fact that it's basically an interactive cutscene. I'll do things basically as quick as humanly possible, and I've seen people doing videos on getting gold on this and doing it much slower than they do and getting the gold on it. I don't know what's going on with that. I've given up on it. I've tried so many times, it's gotten ridiculous, but it's fine. Compendium. I'm just going to quickly flip through all these. I'm not going to read everything in particular because we don't have enough time and I don't think my voice could take it. So we've got the American alligator small, nine-banded armadillo, American badger, little brown bat, American black bear, grizzly bear, North American beaver, blue jay, wild boar, white-tailed buck, white-tailed deer, American bison, Angus bull, Devon bull, Hereford bull, American bullfrog, northern cardinal, American domestic cat, Cedar waxwing, Dominique chicken, Dominique rooster, Java chicken, Java rooster, Leghorn chicken, Leghorn rooster, Great Prairie chicken, Western chipmunk, California condor, cougar, double-crested cormorant, neotropic cormorant, Florida cracker cow, California valley coyote, Cuban land crab, red swamp crayfish, whooping cranes, sandhill crane, American crow, American foxhound, Australian shepherd, bloodhound, blue-tick coonhound, border collie, Catahoula cur, Chesapeake Bay retriever, Siberian husky, Labrador retriever, poodle, mott, rufus, standard donkey, mallard duck, Pekin duck, bald eagle, golden eagle, reddish egret, little egret, snow egret, Rocky Mountain bull elk, Rocky Mountain cow elk, American red fox, American grey fox, silver fox, banded Gila monster, alpine goat, Canada goose, Ferruginous hawk, red-tailed hawk, rough-legged hawk, great blue heron, tricoloured heron, desert iguana, green iguana, collared peccary, common loon, Pacific loon, yellow-billed loon, western bull moose, western moose mule, American muskrat, Baltimore oriole, hooded oriole, California horned owl, coastal horned owl, great horned owl, Angus ox, Devon ox, panther, Florida panther, Carolina parakeet, blue and yellow macaw, great green macaw, scallop macaw, American white pelican, brown pelican, ringneck pheasant, Chinese ringneck pheasant, Berkshire pig, big China pig, old spot pig, bandtail pigeon, rock pigeon, Virginia possum, American pronghorn buck, American pronghorn doe, Sonoran pronghorn buck, Sonoran pronghorn doe, California pronghorn buck, Baja California pronghorn doe, California quail, Sierra Nevada bighorn ram, Sierra Nevada bighorn sheep, Desert bighorn ram, Desert bighorn sheep, Rocky Mountain bighorn ram, Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep, black-tailed black rabbit, North American raccoon, black rat, brown rat, western raven, red-footed booby, American robin, roseate spoonbill, herring gull, laughing gull, ring-billed gull, merino sheep, striped skunk, red boa snake, red rainbow boa snake, sunglow boa snake, diamondback rattlesnake, Fer-de-Lance snake, black-tailed rattlesnake, timber rattlesnake, northern copperhead snake, southern copperhead snake, midland water snake, cottonmouth snake, northern water snake, scarlet tanager songbird, western tanager songbird, Eurasian tree sparrow, American tree sparrow, golden crown sparrow, American red squirrel, western grey squirrel, black squirrel, western toad, Sonoran desert toad, eastern wild turkey, Rio Grande wild turkey, alligator snapping turtle, eastern turkey vulture, western turkey vulture, grey wolf, timber wolf, red-bellied woodpecker, pileated woodpecker, legendary bull gator, legendary Barati grizzly bear, legendary beaver, legendary white bison, legendary Tatanka bison, legendary bull, legendary buck, legendary cougar, legendary coyote, legendary fox, legendary elk, legendary moose, legendary Giaragora panther, legendary pronghorn, legendary bighorn ram, and legendary wolf. Equipment, we've got the lasso, binoculars, fishing rod, electric lantern, camera, upgraded bandolier, upgraded gun belt, upgraded holster, offhand holster, ingredient satchel, material satchel, valuable satchel, tonic satchel, legend of the yeast satchel, kit satchel, provision satchel, alligator tooth talisman, bolt-off talisman, bison horn talisman, bear claw talisman, Tatanka bison horn trinket, beaver tooth trinket, buck antler trinket, cougar fang trinket, coyote fang trinket, elk antler trinket, fox claw trinket, moose antler trinket, owl feather trinket, pronghorn horn trinket, ram horn trinket, eagle talon talisman, raven claw talisman, iguana scale trinket, wolf heart trinket, lion's paw trinket, panther's eye trinket, turtle shell trinket, hawk talon trinket, cat eye trinket, crowbeak trinket, shark tooth trinket, bandit bandolier, bandit gun belt and holster and offhand holster, explorer bandolier, gun belt, holster and offhand holster, gambler bandolier, gun belt, holster and offhand holster, herbalist bandolier, gun belt, holster and offhand holster, horseman bandolier, gun belt, holster and offhand holster, master hunter bandolier, gun belt, holster and offhand holster, sharpshooter bandolier, gun belt, holster, offhand holster. It doesn't even sound like words coming out of my mouth anymore. Survivalist bandolier, gun belt, holster and offhand holster, and weapons expert bandolier, gun belt, holster and offhand holster. God damn. Is anyone still watching? I don't think anybody is, are they? Fish. Okay, something new. Bluegill, chain pickerel, redfin pickerel, rock bass, smallmouth bass, bullhead, catfish, perch, lake sturgeon, largemouth bass, steelhead trouts, channel catfish, longnose gar, muskie, northern pike, sockeye salmon, legendary bluegill, legendary chain pickerel, legendary bullhead catfish, legendary redfin pickerel, legendary rock bass, legendary smallmouth bass, legendary perch, legendary lake sturgeon, legendary largemouth bass, legendary steelhead trout, legendary channel catfish, legendary longnose gar, legendary muskie, legendary northern pike, and legendary sockeye salmon. Gangs. We have the Lemoyne Raiders, an informative guide to the Lemoyne Raiders, a group of politically influenced retired soldiers. The Lemoyne Raiders was founded by a group of men who fought side by side of the Confederate Army during the Civil War. Over the years, the gang has attracted new members who share their political views. Keeping on an army is expensive, so arms steals and robberies are a common occurrence. O'Driscoll Boys, an informative guide to the O'Driscoll Boys, opportunistic misfits who relish in fighting, whores and drinking. After finding success in competing for scores with Dutch's gang out in the west, the O'Driscoll Boys headed to the plains of Valentine. The gang are known for enrolling new members that are considered to be disposable. The O'Driscoll Boys are renewed for their easy money schemes, which often consist of robbing banks, looking for a fun time, and their love of whores. The Murphy Brood, an informative guide to the Murphy Brood, a reclusive gang known for causing trouble in Beaver Hollow. The Murphy Brood are believed to have immigrated to America in the 1700s, where they lived comfortably. The industrialization of the area drove the family to live in a secluded life in the hills. Now the family resides in a cave in Beaver Hollow, only venturing out to the surrounding areas for hunting and scavenging. The Skinner Brothers, an informative guide to the sadistic outcasts known as the Skinner Brothers. The Skinner Brothers are a group of outcasts that have become one of the most notorious gangs around. These men prefer to roam the region of tall trees, causing havoc rather than finding a fixed hideout. They revel in brutally attacking and killing people, with each murder becoming more vicious than the last. This diverse group does not favour one type of weapon. They can be found using anything from Apache bows and Mexican knives to good American shotguns. Laramie Gang, an informative guide to the Laramie Gang known for intimidating and terrorising ranch owners for money. The Laramie Gang are paid thugs used by rich families looking to buy more land. If the current landowner doesn't sell, then the Laramie Gang will find a solution. They start with intimidation, but will happily do anything to make sure they receive their payments. No one is safe when they have a contract, and they take pleasure in killing anyone or anything that gets in their way. And Del Lobos Gang, an informative guide to the Outlaws, mercenaries, and exiles that make up the Del Lobos Gang. The Del Lobos Gang consists of mostly Mexican men who are outlaws, exiles, or opportunists. Loyalty is not something that is deemed important. That dispute between Mexico and America has brought this gang to the town of Thieves Landing. Here they steal, fight, and often kill people. So you can see we're 100% with all of those. Plants. Okay. Alaskan ginseng, American ginseng, bay ballet, batberry, blackcurrant, burdock root, chanterelle, common bulrush, creeping thyme, desert sage, English mace, evergreen huckleberry, golden currant, hummingbird sage, Indian tobacco, milkweed, oleander sage, oregano, purcell mushroom, prairie poppy, ram's head, red raspberry, red sage, vanilla flower, violet snowdrop, wild carrot, wild fever human, wild mint, wintergreen berry, yarrow, Acuna star orchid, cigar orchid, clamshell orchid, dragon's mouth orchid, ghost orchid, lady of the night orchid, lady slipper orchid, moccasin flower orchid, night scented orchid, queen's orchid, rat tail orchid, sparrow's egg orchid, and spider orchid. Horses. American paint, American standard bred Andalusian, Appaloosa, Arabian, Ardennes, Belgian draft horse, Dutch warmblood, and Hungarian half-bred, Kentucky saddler, Missouri foxtrotter, Morgan, Mustang, Nakota, Shire, Suffolk Punch, Tennessee Walker, Thoroughbred, and Turkoman. I'm not going to go through them all individually, but I have reached level 4 bonding with every species of horse, and I've also written all the coats for them, so they're all at 100%. So, just an example. And, you know, I'd love to go through all these, but there's just so much to this game that my voice is going and the episode's getting long, so... Weapons: a Kettleman revolver, Granger's revolver, Flakel's revolver, John's Kettleman revolver, double action revolver, Algernon's revolver, Micah's revolver, High Roller revolver, Schofield revolver, Callaway's revolver, Otis Miller's revolver, Lamont revolver, Volcanic pistol, semi-automatic pistol, Mauser pistol, Midnight's pistol, M1899 pistol, Carbine repeater, Lancaster repeater, Litchfield repeater, Evans repeater, Varmint rifle, Springfield rifle, bolt action rifle, rolling block rifle, rare rolling block rifle, Kakano rifle, sawed-off shotgun, double barrel shotgun, rare shotgun, pump action shotgun, semi-auto shotgun, repeating shotgun, bow, unarmed, fire bottle, volatile fire bottle, dynamite, volatile dynamite, throwing knife, improved throwing knife, poison throwing knife, tomahawk, improved tomahawk, homing tomahawk, Agent tomahawk, cleaver, machete, broken pirate sword, hunting knife, John's knife, antler knife, Civil War knife, jawbone knife, wide blade knife, ornate dagger, hatchet, hewing hatchet, stone hatchet, Viking hatchet, hunter hatchet, rusted hunter hatchet, double bit hatchet, and rusted double bit hatchet. And then cigarette cards. Famous gunslingers. Frank Heck, Otis Miller Boys, Jack Hall Gang, Butcher Brothers, Flaco Hernandez, Slim Grant, Landon Ricketts, Black Bell, Billy Midnight, Emmett Granger, Jim Boy Calloway, and Bart Love. In artists, Edith Corinne, Alice C. Rose, W.G. Hoyt, Aldous Bramley, Preston T. Stevenson, Evelyn Miller, Slick Hutton, Lawrence Carson, Miss Maud Delancey, Charles Chatney, George Dixie, Richard McCullough, Mrs. of America, New York, Saint Denis, Blackwater, Armadillo, Rio Bravo, The Grizzlies, San Francisco, Tall Trees, Valentine, Chicago, Rhodes, and Annisburg. Gems of Beauty, Lila Stetson, Isabel Barlow, Hattie Langtree, Isabel Standish, Maud Engel, Sadie Russell, Geraldine Emerson, Agnes Goyon, Jenny Hillitz, Ilga Ulmer, Faye Delaro, and Pauline Henderson. Flora of America, we've got Golden Currant, Hummingbird Sage, Oleander Sage, Yarrow, Indian Tobacco, Black Mangrove, Longleaf Pine, Desert Farm, Coastal Redwood, Horse Crippler Cactus, Blazing Star, and Carlisle Lupine. Stars of the stage, we have got Lawrence Dunn, Louis Durand, Jesse Raymond, Augusta Tremlow, Mabel Potter, Robin Koninsky, Isidore Reed, Irene Grubb, Nettie Palmer, Jim Cobb, Mitty Comstock, and Robert Elliott Patchen. How many more have we got these? Oh, God's sake. Fauna of America, Black Widow Spider, Bloodhound, Blue Jay, Catfish, Coral Snake, Grouper, Largemouth Bass, Panther, Parrot, Pheasant, Snapping Turtle, and Turkey. Marvels of Travel, Packet Ship, Schooner, Camel Caravan, Elephant Carriage, Goat Carriage, Hot Air Balloon, US Frigate, the Showboat, Bellena Whaling Vessel, Stagecoach, Steam Locomotive, and Velocipede. World Champions, we've got Greco-Roman wrestler Percy Wood, Billiards, Edwin A. Rowe, Pugilist Theobald Gretzin, Oarsman H.T. Slocum, Cyclist R.S. Harradon, Walker E.D. Ewing, Lawn Tennis Patsy Hill, Weightlifter William Schleicher, Pigeon Shooting Edwin Singerley, Skater Felix Hawley, Hammer Thrower Captain Jack Page, and Club Swinger Axel McCormack. Amazing Inventions, Steam Locomotive 1814 George Stevenson, Camera 1814 Joseph Niesforo Neopin, Electrical Execution Apparatus 1888 H.P. Brown A. Cantley, Typewriter 1829 W. A. Burt, Revolver 1836 Daniel Buck, Telegraph 1837 Samuel Morse, Mount Glider 1885 Charles Kinnear, 1866 Alfred Notwell, Dynamite, the Bell, sorry. Cylinder Phonograph 1877 Thomas Edison, Player Piano 1881 Edward Laveau, Electric Light Bulb 1878 Thomas Edison, and Fountain Pen 1884 Lewis Waterman. Horses, American Paint, Appaloosa, Andalusian, American Standard Bred, Nakota, Ardennes, Dutch Warm Blood, Turkoman, Hungarian Half-Bred, Mustang, Thoroughbred, and Missouri Foxtrotter. And finally, prominent Americans. President Fisher, President Hardin, Lillian Powell, Leviticus Cornwall, J.D. McKnight, Luther Covington, Harvey Griggs, Henrietta Beatrice Woods, General Quincy Harris, General Cornelius Palmer, Senator Thaddeus Waxman, and President Alfred McAllister. I think that's finally everything in the compendium. And of course in challenges we've got Bandit. Break the law in as many ways as you can, rob trains, become a highwayman, and gain large bounties in every state. Explorer following clues on treasure maps, explore the wilderness looking for hidden treasure, find each location for a valuable reward. Gambler, compete in table games including poker, blackjack, dominoes, and five-finger fillet, proving you're the best by winning every round. Herbalist, craft science to unlock the medicinal properties of various herbs, increase the potency of your weapons by applying poison to them, develop your culinary skills. Horseman, break every horse breed, hunt animals from horseback, and ride quickly between towns, develop the bond between you and your horse. Master Hunter, using your bow and hunting knife, gather pristine animal pelts, hunt game, track animals, and take on a variety of predators. Sharpshooter, prove your accuracy by shooting flying birds, mastering Deadeye, and using the scope weapons to get long-range kills. Survivalist, used everything the wilderness has to offer to survive, scavenge resources to craft weapons, catch fish, and hunt small game. And weapons expert, master the most challenging weapons in your arsenal, dynamite, fire bottles, throwing weapons, and knives. Develop your skill against enemies and wild animals. And we've gone through the total completion. I think that's finally everything, unless John's added to the journal. Yeah, so we've read that, didn't we? Guess we're just about done, my friend. It's been quite a journey. That it has, John. That it has. Let us save the game one last time. I'm aware this is 50 minutes, but it's it. It's the finale, 100%. We're done. I can't quite believe it. That is where we're going to end this immaculate series. I really couldn't have picked a better game. Well, it was picked for me, but I was always going to plan to play this game. Truly is a masterpiece, and even if you've watched me play it and you've not played it yourself, I would highly recommend that you do so. It's been such an experience. It's unlike anything I've ever played before, unlike anything I'm probably ever going to play again. I'm going to miss it a lot. I'm going to reflect on the journey a lot. There's still stuff I can do, I'm sure, including Red Dead Online, which I might be doing at some point soon on Twitch, but we'll see about that. In the meantime, this is where we are saying goodbye once again to John. We said goodbye to him a few years ago, but it has come around that time again, and hopefully it won't be the last time we see him and the Vandalin gang. I hope we have more stories to tell with them. In the meantime, the next series has been planned. I won't tell you what that is in case you guys want to keep it, be surprised. It has been chosen by my wonderful £20 patron, Ron, which I thank him for that, and I'm sure you're going to be very excited and I'm going to enjoy what replaces it, although I don't think anything's going to quite replace Red Dead Redemption 2 for me. It's going to feel weird not playing it. Anyway, before I wrap up, let me take a second to thank my amazing patrons. My £5 patrons are Evan the Snake and Ron Hyler. Find links to their channels as well as my other £3 patrons in the description down below. And on screen secrets to my £1 patrons. Thank you so much, everyone. It's truly appreciated, and it goes a long way to help the channel, so I do thank you a lot for that. And if you wish to become a patron, you can find a link in the description down below. You don't have to do that because at the end of the day, I hope you guys enjoyed this series, and if you did, be sure to like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.